Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hi, my name's Zoe. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I do hope that you decide to subscribe and turn on that bell so you're notified every single time that I post. And if you're a current subscriber, please make sure your bell is on, as YouTube does not suggest true crime content. So before jumping into today's video, I do just want to say a massive thank you to all you guys for being so supportive over the past few weeks. As people know, I've had a little bit of a tough time if you follow me on social media, and going off the last video that I posted, things haven't been that great for me at the moment, and you guys have been literally so understanding, and I just couldn't ask for more. Like, you've just been so amazing. You guys have literally made a tough time for me that little bit more bearable, and I am so grateful for that, and I am so grateful for every single one of you. So a few months ago I did a video about the theories around the Madeleine Mccann case. Now personally I am not going to cover Madeleine McCann's case. It has been done so many times already and it's been done so well. So I will leave a video linked to a video about the Madeleine McCann case in case that is something you want to watch or recap on. But today I am going to be doing a part 2 around these theories. You guys really enjoyed the last video and said you would want a part 2, so that is what I'm doing today. I know it's a long intro, I'm so sorry. We will get into the video in a second, but I do just want to say that these are just theories. I'm in no way saying that these are true. I'm not trying to make your mind up for you or implement a decision. These are just simply theories. So let's jump in. The first theory that I've got today is that Madeleine McCann was actually taken in a burglary gone wrong. Before the McCann's holiday, there was a rise in burglaries in the area, so this is what led police to believe this theory. 3 burglaries actually happened in the same apartment complex with access through the side window before the McCann's holiday. 3 men were arrested in 2014 as phone records actually placed them in the area at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. But despite these men being suspect for 3 long years, there was no evidence, so they were just released. The second theory is that Madeleine was attacked by a local paedophile. Witnesses had stated that they seen various different men watching the apartment complex in the days leading up to Madeleine's disappearance. This theory was looked into by police in 2011 as it came to light that there had been various different sexual attacks in the same area in the years leading up to 2007, and in these attacks it was mainly British young girls that had been targeted. During their investigations, 1 man was actually suspected of these attacks, but he had died in a freak tractor accident, so they could never arrest this man. And because he had died, they had access to his DNA, so later on he was ruled out with DNA evidence. He was not responsible for these attacks. So that meant to this day police had never actually identified a suspect or arrested anybody for these attacks. So that meant the perpetrator was at large at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. The next theory is that Madeleine McCann actually had a stalker. It is believed that a stranger was actually watching the McCanns during their holiday very, very closely. Once this stranger knew the patterns of the family and what they were doing day to day, and that they were being left alone in the evening, the stranger decided to abduct Madeleine. This theory was later sparked up again after it was revealed that girls had been attacked in the area. The next is that somebody just simply abducted or attacked Madeleine by chance. Maybe they had just seen that Madeleine's parents had left her alone and they decided to take this chance and abduct Madeleine. People believe this could have been a decision that was made in the moment, and that is why her siblings were never harmed or taken and they were just left there. The next theory isn't that popular, but a lot of people do believe it, and it's that Madeleine was actually taken by somebody inside that apartment complex. During the day, Madeleine and her siblings and her friends spent a lot of time with the sort of babysitters or children's carers within the resort. Is it possible that one of these children carers actually had bad intentions and had groomed Madeleine over the days and then decided to abduct her? Maybe the perpetrator knew that police would more than likely be looking for suspects from the outside, and this made them think that they could get away with it. So many people believe that the McCanns are guilty, and not guilty of kidnap or murder necessarily, but guilty of neglect. So this is something that I do believe myself. The children were left alone without any adult supervision. Even though that the parents claim they checked on the children so many times during the evening, these children were still not supervised. The restaurant that the parents were in was close by, but was it actually close by enough so that they could see if something was happening, maybe a child being taken? If the children were supervised that night, then more than likely 9 times out of 10, Madeleine would still be here today. Many people believe that it was their negligence that allowed their child to be abducted. Another theory that is less likely but is out there is that Madeleine doesn't even exist. People believe that this was actually a stunt set up by the British government to kind of sway people's attention away from what was happening at the time. There is actually no evidence to support this theory, but it is something that people believe. The last theory that I'm going to talk about today is that the Portuguese police wanted to save their tourism, and this is a theory that was actually touched upon in the Netflix documentary. It's believed authorities were looking for someone else to blame. They didn't want families and children to feel unsafe in the area. So they tried to shift the blame from a local perpetrator to the parents. The area at the time definitely wasn't doing that well in the tourism aspect, and it's believed that police didn't want to make this any worse, so they knew that they could sway the media and the public to think someone else was to blame. Now, I don't think I did this in my last video, but what I'm going to do is give you my view on this case. Now, this is just my opinion or theory around this case. This isn't me trying to tell you you should feel a certain way. How you feel about this case is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I am going to just let you know what I think, because a lot of people did ask me that as well. I believe that I personally cannot come to a decision on this case. Despite all the theories that are readily available and all the evidence, I just can't make my mind up in what I believe. I personally think there isn't enough evidence to strongly point in one direction. I don't believe we will have answers for this case until Madeleine's remains or more evidence is found. Also, if somebody actually came forward with a confession, I'd sit there and struggle to believe it, simply because of how publicised this case was. And I know it's been so publicised because we want to find a missing child, but in a way I think that publicity was a little bit of a mistake. I'm not sure if anybody else feels the same. As always, I love to hear your theories around the cases that I talk about, so please leave them in the comments down below so I can go and read them later on. I really love to hear your points of view, no matter if it's totally different to mine. Everybody's entitled to their opinions and theories, so I just love to see and read them. So that is all for today's video. Thank you for being so patient over the last week, 2 weeks, because I've had a lot going on. Literally, like, it has been a crazy time for me. It's been so sad and emotional, and I couldn't physically bring myself to talk about death. And I suppose that's why I've come back with the sort of video I have. A lot of you guys were saying start off slowly and work your way up to the bigger cases, which I'm thinking I'm gonna do, because this case I was not necessarily talking about how people die and all that juicy stuff. As much as I love true crime, I think it's just what I've been through recently has kind of made me want to avoid the whole subject of true crime, and I know I'm a true crime channel, so I have to post true crime, but I'm sure I will be back to my normal self very, very soon. Thank you for your support, and don't forget to subscribe. I shall see you in my next true crime video. Bye.